everyone, and welcome to the Safe Kids Now show. And this is Stephanie Mann, and I'm so excited to have two guests today. And these are accomplished women that have been doing amazing work for many years. And the first I wanted to introduce to you is Cher Graham, and Cher is with the Gulf Coast Mental Health Coalition, and she's a behavioral health and organizational communications, and she's a speaker on behavioral scientist. She's a writer, author, and trainer, and she's from Mobile, Alabama. Come in, Cher, and then I'm going to also introduce to you another amazing lady that's been involved for many years, and her name is Pastor Ovella Davis, and she's the president and founder of the United Communities of America, which is a 501(c) organization, and they are into crime through the promotion of peace, healing, and positive change. So thank you for joining us, Orvella. Come in, Orvella. I'm going to click here. Okay. Oops.
Hello, Cher.
Hi to both of you. Thank you so much for joining me today because, this is such an important topic. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about peace and healing. And I would like to start off with Cher, just because, Cher, I've known you for how many years have we known each other?
Oh, since 2001 when we spoke on the same platform. So that's been 20 years. We had an anniversary in September.
Oh my goodness. Well, your memory's better than mine. I'd forgotten it's been
And we were in Michigan when we spoke. Talk about irony.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. And time goes by, 20 years. Oh, wow. Well, tell us a little bit about what you're doing today, Cher, because you're doing some very important work on mental health and your coalition. And Cher is from Mobile, Alabama. So thank you for joining me today, Cher, and tell us a little bit about what you're up to.
You're welcome, Stephanie, and thank you for having both Ovella and I on here today. I now reside in Mobile, Alabama. I've been here 20 years. It doesn't seem possible, but I moved here shortly after Stephanie and I spoke in Michigan. 6 years ago, I helped to found the Gulf Coast Mental Health Coalition. At that time, we were looking at mental wellness because our crime rates were up, our gun violence had increased, our suicide rate had increased. This was going back to 2015. Since then, we have produced 9 half-day workshops. In 2.5 years, we have produced over 60 real talk seminars and workshops for continuing education credits for both professional and the public. We did those twice a month. We cover 2 counties, which is about 30 communities and over 750,000 people.
Wow, that's a big crowd.
We feel like our platform has been communicate, educate, and then legislate or advocate. And we think we've done a really good job, but basically we haven't because we are still, hang on, I guess I'm not there. I know you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Go
okay,
ahead.
Can't see me. I'm not sure what's going on. But it's been there we go. But it's been an amazing journey, but we know that we have a long way to go. And as much as all of us have given our lifetime, we live, breathe, and eat what we do because we love to serve and we know that we can make a difference. With one person every day, we can make a difference.
That's right.
But there are days when I feel like it's not enough. Mm-hmm. When statistics go like an oval, up and down, and it's like a roller coaster. One day it's decreased. Next day it's, we have peace. And the next day we have homicides and we have mass shootings and we have all kinds of disasters that create an unhealthy mental health in our communities. So what we're doing here for 2022, we're revamping our executive committee, but our focus this year is mental health in our minority communities. And in the 3 minority communities that are the major in the Gulf Coast, that will be your Black community, your Asian, and your Hispanic. We feel it's really important for us to create a strategic plan, an action plan that will help decrease the stigma and increase the use of mental health services in those 3 communities who desperately need them. It impacts all of us. It doesn't matter what color you are. We're all in this together. But we feel that with where we are in the Gulf Coast region, those communities have been left out. So we're focusing on them and starting a whole new platform next year that we're currently working on. The other thing we're doing is starting in January, I'm going to be hosting, along with another colleague, our Real Talk, Real People half-hour segments. It will be on Zoom, and it will be on Facebook and streamed on YouTube. A half-hour show about people who are involved in serving others, whether it's mental health, it could be crime prevention, an author who's written a book, done a study, a scientist, a teacher, educator, people who are really involved in serving people to create a healthier community.
That sounds so important, Cher.
Yeah,
and
I'm excited about it. And then I know we're going to talk about what we're now involved in for next year, and I'll leave it at that. But we're excited because there's so much going on here that we really know we can make a better difference next year.
Oh, well, absolutely. And, with that, I would like to bring in here Pastor Ovella Davis. And she has been very much involved in a new project. So I can't wait for you to tell us about the project that you're working on right now and making a difference in your community. So thank you for joining us, Pastor Ovella.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me, and thank you, Cher, for making the connection happen that we could all 3 be here today. This is really wonderful. I'm excited about really what is going on in all of the, I guess, community initiatives that are taking place. It seems like that we have been connected through mission now, that we understand the need, and no matter what community it is, there is the need. Of course, what Cher talked about with mental health, mental wellness. This is so important at this hour. And so when we look at the need, what is the initiative that I'm working for, is the reduction of crime through the promotion of peace and healing and positive change. So for 11 years, we have been working in our community here in Detroit, Michigan. We started with a initiative was just a word campaign. Violence was increasing so rapidly. I am a pastor, and so I'm truly coming from a position of the spiritual lens that we need to declare something that is beyond even the earthly authorities, and that's the highest authority in the land, which is God.
Yeah.
And God said, "Thou shalt not kill." And so we had begun to just declare that message through T-shirts and wristbands, and going into the schools and going into even the prisons, just, bringing a consciousness about what God says about violence, what God says about death. And as a result of that, so many people were brought to me from just that have been victims of violence. They've just been connected with other people, and they said, "Well, have you heard about Pastor Ovella, Thou Shalt Not Kill?" And it just seemed like everywhere I went that people were coming to me about, "Can you pray for this person? They've been a victim of violence. Their daughter's been a victim." And so I decided that we need to do something to gather the grieving. We need to do something for those that are suffering from violence and been victims, and help them to learn how to turn that pain into power. So this became the ball that we began to roll in that direction. And we came up with the first citywide night of peace and healing, which was October 22nd, 2010. And it was a pilot program. I just wanted to gather those people to let them know, we want to help you to forgive and to turn that pain into power, to get involved in community initiatives, because that'll help you. And amazingly, the church seat 1,200 people. It was full to capacity. And everyone was saying, "Well, when are we going to do this again?" And I'm like, I worked 6 months on this program. I'm not trying to do another one. But the neighbors there and the pastor said, well, how about if we just come back next month on the 22nd and do it again? And that's what started us. Every 22nd, we begin to go to different churches, different community centers, different parks, and just hold what was called the Citywide Day of Peace and Healing to help those that have been victims to turn that pain into power.
You know, I might mention at this point that Ovella is in Detroit, Michigan, and Cher is in Mobile, Alabama. And it is so wonderful to connect with people around the country now that we can communicate this way and share information. So tell us a little bit about your 2022. It's about the peace and healing of America. So I love it. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you. And I smile when I think about it because it's an opportunity to build a consciousness, not just to our communities, but to our nation and literally across the world. Because the Citywide Day of Peace and Healing that is held every 22nd, it is also known as Code 22. And Code 22 is an initiative that calls all human beings to be conscious about peace each 22nd. So every month we're asked people to set an alert, mark your calendars, and make sure that you do something every 22nd to be intentional about peace. And whether that means to have a peace dinner, a peace picnic, bring peace cookies to the job, husband and wife, you can't argue on the 22nd, it's the day of peace. Just everyone can do something because we have so much violence and so much conflict that we have to be intentional about peace. So we've been doing that and we've been getting some great people are creative with events. But the number 22 is significant for many reasons. But the number one reason is that I literally heard the Spirit of the Lord say that he decreed the 22nd day as a day of peace and healing, and that we were to declare it. And so the Bible says when God decrees a thing, it shall come to pass. That means that it is his will. And so we have been declaring the 22nd. We have 12 proclamations from mayors that have declared Code 22 in their cities, testimony of resolutions. And now that 2022 is coming up, we want to declare it not just one day a month, but the entire year to be known and coined and acknowledged as the year of peace and healing. And so we're working to get this initiative into the hands of our governors. The Lord can bless us that we can make it to the White House, that they say, hey, we want to declare this year 22 as a year of peace and healing. Just to raise the consciousness about we need to be intentional about doing something for peace.
Oh, I love that. You know, it's so important for all of us to think about peace. A lot of us hear the word, but we really don't know what that means. And so maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that, Cher, about what does peace mean? What does peace and healing mean? Because I know that's part of the work that you're doing.
Thank you for asking, Stephanie. Ovella's right. And I wanted to let you know, for those people who are new and don't know where Stephanie is, Stephanie's in Nevada. So think about who you're seeing on the screen. Stephanie's from Nevada, Ovella's from Michigan, and I'm in Alabama. Our three communities, if you create a triangle on the U.S. map, cover half of the country.
Wow.
That's a huge amount of states and people. When we talk about peace, I have a whisper flag that a friend of mine did last year during COVID. She does these whisper flags for people all over the country who have done something great, you know, been a peacemaker, a change maker, community advocate. And it says, I am heart calm. And to me, that's exactly what peace is. Peace must start in our heart. It must start in the heart of each person. It is a behavior. It is a state of mind where we are at peace. Yesterday morning, I opened my Bible to Psalms. I have it sitting next to my desk, and the two words that I saw in the chapter in Psalms said, fret not.
Yeah.
I had one of the best days in my life yesterday by those two words when it said, it was fret not, meaning let it go. Let
Yeah.
God handle it. Let the universe, whatever your higher power, you call your higher power. You may not call anything a higher power, but there is an energy that is above us and around us that completes who we are and impacts the energy that we are. Because that's what we are. We're energy.
Right.
Our words are energy. Our thoughts are energy. The world is surrounded by energy. So we look at that, and Stephanie, you said something, we all think about it, but sometimes we have to act. Thinking is one thing, but if you're not going to act upon your thoughts, then it's hard to build up peace in your heart. And that's where it has to start. So when we talk about
Absolutely.
peace and healing, and they both go together, because when you heal, then your heart is at peace. How you heal is so different for each of us. Our
Absolutely.
behaviors and our words must work together. Many times they don't. You'll hear someone say something and see the behaviors of what they're not saying. So what is it that you do? And I think back, I was in some seminars last week with parents and kids, and the kids would say, Mom and Dad don't do what they say they're going to do.
Oh,
Mom and Dad say one thing, and then the kids sit there and they see the actions of the parents. And they don't meet, they're completely different. And the kids then are confused. What should they do? Do they do what Mom and Dad say? Or do they follow how Mom and Dad behave? So when we talk about peace, it is just that understanding of who you are, knowing that you must find that calm. And that calm you can find is a choice. We want to heal the heart, but we have to heal the mind, body, and spirit one at a time and all together in order to find that peace and healing that we're all looking for. What does that do? It begins, it's the foundation for creating a mentally healthy community. Let me back up. A mentally well person, a mentally well community. Because in the middle of wellness is we. It's not I, it is we. We must all work together. When I think about peace and healing, that's what I think of.
That's such an important point. And we're going to take a little break, about a 30-second break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk to Orvella about some of the tips that she has for our families today. So we will be back in 30 seconds.
The Pillow Throw and Tuck. It's handmade by myself, and you only can get it here, and it's patent, and it's only here at Rococo Design. It's like a regular pillow, or you can take the blanket out like so, fluff up the pillow, open up your blanket, wrap it around yourself, and then you can lay on your sofa and relax with your Pillow Throw and Tuck. When you're done with it, just flip it over. When you don't want the blanket anymore, you just fold it over twice. Fold it over twice again. Fold it over. And tuck it in the back. And there you go. You're back to the Pillow Throw and Tuck. Rococo Design.
Okay, we're back. And Ovella, I am so pleased that you're here today to talk to us about, how can we show peace in our families? What ideas do you have for us?
We have to start at the root, and Cher was right on point when she was saying that we have to, we're body, soul, and spirit. And so the three components of ourself, we really have to look within first, because you can create a false peace, say, we're just going to come to get together today and we're just going to get along. But if the issues of the heart have not been resolved, that's really not the true peace. That's just the facade. And so one of the things that we talk about for Code 22 and on the 22nd is on the 22nd, when you get up, first of all, see what you need to do to make peace with yourself. Many people are not on good terms with themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's very difficult to try to be on good terms with other people when you are not on good terms with yourself. And so that takes a little work, which is how come a lot of people are not on good terms, because they'd rather, as we do, put on makeup, put on clothes, go and put on our mask and go to work and go out. And everybody thinks that we're okay. But it takes work to do what's called self-confrontation and say, you know, this attitude that I've been operating in, it's not good, it's not healthy. I need to work on that, not only so I can have better relationships, but I'll feel better about me if I work on me. So that's one of the things that we ask people to do, to be intentional about self-confrontation. The other thing that is important is when you make peace with yourself, is make peace with God. Make peace with, as Cher says, however you term God or higher power. That's so important to your consciousness, because if in your consciousness you have guilt, and most of us have done things that we feel guilty about. Maybe we have regret. We have things that we shouldn't have done that we did, or things that we, didn't do that we should have done. And so you have all of these things, and then you feel inadequate. And so therefore, we're back to what? Self-confrontation. I don't feel good about me, so I don't have peace, so I can't make peace with others. But, we have a creator, a God who has, through every measure possible, demonstrated his love. Through creation, through everything, communicates his love. The air we breathe, the way that I'm blinking my eyes with not thinking about it. It's the way he created us, so things would be well with us. And you have to know that that's his heart. And if you know that your creator loves you and that your creator has a plan for you and he's forgiving you, that can help you to forgive yourself. So we say, make peace with yourself, make peace with God. If we started those two places, then we can begin to do the external things, like, go to the job that day and say, or you remember, today is a day of peace. So, no bickering, no fighting. You can remind other people. I tell you something that we did in the schools. It turned out to be amazing. We have a Students for Peace youth violence prevention program, which we're really trying to get implemented right now with what's going on in our schools. But Students for Peace was a youth violence prevention program, and it's called Code 22. And so the students would be rewarded if they would stop fights, break up fights, not allow children to, what they call have beef with each other. And so the students begin to get engaged. And if they had a month without fighting, then they would have a pizza party, and DJ, we'd reward it, right? And the kids so embraced this idea that they begin to come to school. And if there were kids that were looking like they were going to fight or argue, they'd say, Code 22, Code 22. And all the kids would say, Code 22. Now you have to know, this is a complete reversal of when there's a fight and kids are taking their cameras and want to go to YouTube and want to show the fight. No, they actually were interfering. They became a conflict resolutes in the situation. And then once they experienced the peace, they protected it. Nobody had to tell them stop fighting, stop. The students protected the peace, because that's the blessing and the benefit of peace. And they didn't realize that they're coming to school and they're having a good time. They're not fighting. And so on the 21st, they would write peace on the chalkboard in the classes. So when the students came to school the next day, they'd be reminded the 22nd is a day of peace. And this last story that really blessed my heart is that we turned it into a competition, and I said, if you guys do something really great for peace, we're going to have a really big reward. Well, it was homecoming, and the school wrote peace on the end zone. At the football game, the word peace was written. So everyone that came to the game saw the word peace. They painted it on the end zone. And so the idea is that we have to, first of all, know that, peace is healthy, peace is good, peace is our best state of being, but we have to be intentional and we have to do something about it, which is like, what could you do one day a month to make it a day of peace in your circle of influence?
I love it. I love it. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, how does somebody get involved? Either one of you can answer this. How do they get involved in this kind of a program? Because getting the youth involved is so critical to having any kind of peace at all in our communities, because we are seeing a lot of our young people looting and doing some really bad things. And we really need to get kids thinking in other ways in order to change their behavior. So either one of you can answer. How do people get involved that say, oh, that sounds really interesting, I'd like to know more? How do they get in touch with you?
Well, as far as what I'm concerned, you can go to our website, which is the UCOA. You have to use the word the for it's the United Communities of America. So that's the acronym, the UCOA.org. And there is a volunteer page where you can send us your information, let us know you want to volunteer. And as we have different initiatives every month, we would just get you included. We're actually revamping how we're going to operate in 2022 because there's so many great things to do. But I can be located on Facebook, Ovella Davis. You can message me, inbox me there, and that's the way to communicate. And I'm also on YouTube, which is Be Spiritual with Pastor O is our page. Be Spiritual with Pastor O. And my email address is ovellad@yahoo.com, my first name, and D as in Davis at yahoo.com.
Great. And how about you, Cher?
I want to start by saying that what Ovella has done in the last 11 years in Michigan far supersedes any other program, because the kids are now involved. And hopefully after 10 years, the kids who went through it in 2010 and 2011 have grown and they've graduated and now they're adults. And hopefully some of what they learned in high school will transition to them as they move ahead in life, whether they go to college, work at a job, become parents, or just learn more about how to be at peace with themselves. Mm-hmm. The Gulf Coast Mental Health Coalition is always here. And, we were talking about communication and connection. Well, 2 days ago, no, it was on Sunday, I got a call from North Carolina. Now, I always answer my phone because most of the time I'm on call 24/7 if people need help. And there was a young man on the line. He said the Salvation Army in North Carolina, in his community, had given him my number. Now, I know that there's an area code in South Carolina, 252. Mobile is 251. And he said, no, they told me that you could help me. He was someone who had just been released from prison. He was looking for ways in which he could get back in the community because he needed some help. I did not know what to tell him, but at least I knew resources, and I was in my office sitting in front of my computer. So I connected him with some resources in his community. What was sad about that call, I'm glad he called me because he's getting help now. And he said, oh, I didn't think about this group. But the fact that another nonprofit, an organization in his community who should know the local resources, didn't guide him. They told him to call me. He didn't know where he was calling, but it was okay. So when we talk about communication and connection, I still don't know who I know in North Carolina who gave him my number, but I was so glad I was able to help him because now he's on the road with some resources in his local community. And that's how peace and healing works. Someone knows somebody else that may be able to help no matter where you are. That's the power of communication and connection. The Gulf Coast Mental Health Coalition is located in Mobile, Alabama. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/GCMHC. We have an email, gulfcoastmhc@gmail.com. If you're in critical help and don't want to dial 911, but also more importantly, if you need some help, you are more than welcome to call. Our telephone number is 251-404-3924. And by the way, Stephanie and Ovella, with our new project, and something we haven't stressed, but our 3 entities have come together, and we are now the driving force of 2022 year of peace and healing. We have an email address. I set it up today. It is peaceandhealing2022@gmail.com. So when you listen to this, pass it on, but email us because we will get the information to whomever that needs it. And let us know if you have activities in your community that you're doing in
Yeah.
the name of peace. If you want to get involved, we're working on a toolbox that will help you and give you the tools necessary. It's not quite there because we're still in the planning stages. We've only been together in the planning stages for a little over 4 days, but we're getting there. So if you have any organizations in your community, churches, schools, individuals, local groups, your Kiwanis, your Rotary clubs, or a teen group, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, that you think would like to get involved to help build peace and healing in their community, let us know. Because one of the things that we want to do is highlight the positivity. Positive change comes when we learn about what someone else is doing in their community. So what a wonderful way to be able to give to the media, to talk on social media about what is happening in other communities around the world, and especially in our country. Our focus right now is national, because I think we have a lot to work with. We got 50 states and a lot of people. So just in our 3 states and our 3 communities, we have a lot. But our goal is we want our country to be a country of peace and healing,
And it can't be.
365 days a year.
Now, if somebody wants to go to their mayor and talk about proclaiming peace and healing the year 2022, do you have guidelines that you can give them, or what would you suggest about that?
Yeah, we do. I want to ask, share that the email that you have, peace and healing peace and healing 2022 at Gmail. That and is the word and.
No, peace and healing 2022 at gmail.com. Yes. Stephanie and the world, we have pieces that we are getting ready. So we will have a resolution. We'll have templates and samples of things. Our goal is January 1st, sometime in the first week of January. We'll have some pieces ready. But before that, before we even give it to them, we've got to create the process and get them excited and teach them how to go to their mayors and how to go to their city council people or their school board attendant or just the president of the PTA. There's so many ways that the few pieces that we're working with, and many of them are coming from the resolution for the Nonviolent Day that has been going on in Michigan. So we're not reinventing the wheel. We're adding to what's already been done and done with such tremendous power that, I mean, I cried the first time I heard Ella talk about Code 22, and I call it hashtag Code 22 because I don't want anybody else to put the hashtag and take Code 22 because it has other meanings. But what they've done in a community that has seen poverty, they've seen economic downturn, they have seen increase in crimes, they've seen a high incident of bullying, of drug substance abuse, of suicide. And for 11 communities, think about it. That's a lot of neighborhoods. I know in Mobile we have, I think, 98 neighborhoods. But Ovella did it in 11 cities. If she can do it, we know we can do it too.
Absolutely.
So we're building our toolbox to give you the pieces, and you can be on this journey with us. You can give us your input. If you've got things that you use, send them to us because we are more than willing to look at what's out there and add it to our toolbox to help the world.
And that's what's really important about the 22nd is that whatever initiative an organization may already be implementing to promote peace or to reduce violence or whatever you're doing, to add a Code 22 to your initiative only enhances it. It doesn't change anything. It's just becoming conscious. Hey, the 22nd is an official citywide day of peace and healing across the nation. So we're going to be conscious of that as well as the other initiatives that we're working on.
Yeah.
I love this whole discussion. And go ahead, Cher. What were you going to say?
I did some homework at 4 a.m. this morning, and I pulled the 2022 calendar of health events I wanted to see how many and where. I do this every year anyhow for mental health, but maybe by 2023, we can add every month, every day. You know, they have these national days of this and that, and we have so many in mental health there, you know, for crime prevention and so, you know, that we can, again, let's move this beyond where we are. Let's dream big. Maybe in a year, we can have national national peace and healing every month on the 22nd of every month for the rest of humanity's time. That's how big this can get.
But that's the original vision and the original goal, that the 22nd comes every month. And the goal is just that every 22nd, just like we know that on Thanksgiving, that we don't have to be told to go get turkey and cranberry sauce. And on the 4th of July, we don't have to be told to let's get the barbecue grill. We know what to do, that this becomes a consciousness. The 22nd is known as a day of peace and healing. And I'm confident that if our communities, if we would just be intentional about it, it doesn't take a lot to do a lot. It's just getting ourselves saying, you know what, peace is important. I have a circle of influence. I'm going to do what I can do to create a consciousness to my circle of influence to say, hey, the 22nd, let's do something special for peace. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Oh, well, we're kind of at the end of our show here. And any final thoughts, Cher, from you that you'd like to add that maybe we haven't covered this yet? Just one final thought.
Oh gosh. We could carry this topic on for, for days and hours. We could do a whole marathon about peace. One thing I will say in doing research, go out to the website and type in the words peace, healing, and see what is out there, what has been done, what is being done. There are many organizations who have worked for years to help build peace in our nation and at the federal level and at the local levels. One of the things that I can say is, I am heart calm. Look for your heart calm so that you can begin to be the peace builder within yourself, within your family, within your community and the world, to help us build a community of peace and healing for 2022.
Well, thank you so much, Cher. And Ovella, do you have a final thought that you would like to add?
Thank you. First of all, thank you again, Stephanie, for this opportunity. And as a pastor, I'm always conscious of those souls that may be living in environments that does not allow them to experience the peace. There are people that are living with confrontation, combative relationships, children that just will not cooperate. You know, there's a lot of things that disturb our peace. And they say, okay, yeah, you're having a conversation, but you don't live with my husband. Someone might want to say. But that does not negate the reality that you can still create your own peace. And you have to be conscious about it. Just like Cher said, energy is everything. And if you begin to think, you know what, I'm going to make my life more peaceful. I'm going to become a more peaceful person. Has nothing to do with how people treat you. My pastor always said, you're not responsible for how people treat you, but you are responsible for how you treat people. And really, it's not even the others that are getting the benefit. Your peace is rewarded when you treat others right, even in the midst of combative relationships. So I'm saying just begin to have a peace consciousness, and peace has its own energy. And I like to say that if you begin to work it, you can live in peace instead of just resting in peace.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, so many words of wisdom and action and things we can do. And I'm just grateful that you both, Cher Graham and Ovella Davis, have joined me today and shared the amazing work that you've been doing over many years and how it's coming to fruition, where we're really talking about peace in our communities. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank
Stephanie,
you.
thank you for being part of our team, because it's not just Ovella and I, it is Stephanie. We're looking at a triangle, and Stephanie and Safe Kids Now, our coalition members, get on the bandwagon. Call us, come join us on this new horizon for 3 organizations. We laugh because if anyone can get anything accomplished, it's the power of people, but it's also the
Absolutely.
power of we 3 women. So we're going to take credit for it because we are working hard. Come work with us.
Well, thank you so much, because if people are waiting for the politicians to fix us, it's not going to happen. They can't even get along with each other. So
No.
Right.
here, it's we the people that are going to make the changes here. So
Mhm.
I will look forward to doing this again later down the road and giving an update on where we were and where we are going and where we've been. So thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and I would just like to add that I am so pleased that we have so many people that want to make some changes, but it's going to take you getting involved. And if you don't have that spiritual center that Pastor Ovella was talking about, I suggest you take a look at empowerment parenting and how to create children from the inside out. That's what this book is about. It's not a religious book. It's about giving your children the 3 C's: courage, character, and a self-protective conscience. It also gives you ideas on how to create peace in your family. So take a look it's on Amazon, and also go to our website. We are updating it constantly. We will have the new speakers on the website every single week so that you can check in with us. And next week, because of Christmas, we will not be having a program, but we'll be back the week after that. And we will look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future. And the exciting part of this is 2022, the year of peace and healing. Bye. Peace.
You're listening to All About Us Radio. We're live streaming 24/7, playing old school versus new school. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at AAU Media, and visit our website, www.aaumedia.com. Call us at 1-833-369-1444, extension 1, and leave us an inspirational message or request. You're listening to All About Us Radio.